Deputy Antrim, line up, go. Who needed a pen and paper? Who needed extra pen and paper? I'll give you two when we go out. Okay, we all ready? That's it. Take seats. Okay. Jurors entered.
Seat. Okay, folks, I want to kind of give you an update on what we're going on right now. And as you know, Mr. Hughes is on the stand, and the state's got not much more on their direct than we'll have cross and redirect. The state has another witness this evening. I said we work late, but not unduly late. We'll be out of here by 7 o'clock, and if we're not, we'll recess at 7. Tomorrow morning, we can start as early as you guys want to start. 7 o'clock, is that what you said? Well, he likes the 1 o'clock start. But, you know, I'd like to start earlier tomorrow. Is 8:30 okay with anybody? Anybody have a child care issue? You can't be here at 8:30 in the morning? Is everybody, if anybody says no, it's okay. We'll start at 9. Is 8:30 okay? Would you rather start at 9? 9. All right, we'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning. The state will have another witness tomorrow morning, and I believe that we're ready to wrap up the state's case in chief tomorrow morning, and we'll see where we go from there. And so that's our schedule. Let me turn back to Mr. Hughes. Let me remind you, sir, you're still under oath. Let me turn to Ms. Walters. You may continue with your direct examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before the break, Mr. Hughes, we were talking about State's Exhibit 167, which has already been admitted into evidence. And what did you review in State's 167?
Records from Comcast, Xfinity.
And when did those records begin?
The first billing date is March 5th, 2018.
And
February 5th, 2018.
February 5th, 2018. And what is the amount of that bill for Comcast Xfinity?
$160.91.
And do you see a payment made on that bill?
From the previous month, well, there was no previous balance, no payment, new charges, $160.91. And then the next bill is billing date March 1st, 2018.
And what do we see in the records for March 1st of 2018?
There's no payment and new charges of $160.91 for a total amount due of $321.82.
Do you see additional records for that Comcast account?
A bill with a billing date of April 1st, 2018 with no payment reflected and a balance forward of $321.82 plus new charges of $170.91. Total amount due $492.73.
And do those records indicate that there's a past due amount that is being added each month?
Correct.
And do you also see in State's Exhibit 166, the Bank of America summary, do you see in the Bank of America summary that's already been entered into evidence, do you see Comcast purchases that are going towards Comcast in the defendant's Bank of America account at the end of 2018?
February 1st, 2018, there was a $50 payment to Comcast Broward. And then February 6th of 2018, there's a $214.22 payment to Comcast Broward.
And what about after February of 2018? Do you see any additional payments in March?
No more payments.
Okay, and that's also reflected in State's Exhibit 167?
Correct. There's a bill with billing date of April 16th of 2018, total amount due of $505.41. And it says on that bill that this is the final bill for your Xfinity services. Your account contains an unpaid balance. which may include charges for unreturned equipment. Please make payment in full and return any equipment at your earliest convenience.
Okay. What about what's been already admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit 168, the Chase credit card account? Who is that Chase credit card account linked to?
Mr. James A. Scandirito.
And what is the address of that account?
1730 South Federal Highway, apartment 306.
Is that Norrie Beach?
Correct.
Okay. And what's reflected in these records?
The statements go from February 13th of 2016 through February 13th of 2017. The balance beginning in February of 2016 is $15,523.21.
And when you say balance, is that what's owed on that credit card?
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead.
And then the balance by February 13th of 2017 is now $27,315.84.
And what's the final statement for that Chase credit card for James Scandirito II?
This was the final statement with the due date of February 13th of 2017. And under account messages, it says your account is closed and no longer available to use.
Okay. Throughout that time period that you just testified to, do you see regular payments being made towards this balance on this credit card?
Earlier on, there were a few payments that were reversed, and I saw that on a few occasions, but then there are no more payments after a certain point. I forget the exact date. There were a few minor changes, but the balance continued to increase throughout that time period.
And was that credit card accruing interest?
Yes.
And do you see any transactions from either the defendant's Bank of America or his Chase accounts during this time frame that are making payments towards this account?
I'd have to look at the summary for it.
Sure. If you look at State's Exhibit 166, which is the Bank of America summary, does that assist you?
Yes.
Okay.
There were no payments to Chase out of Bank of America 2688 between December of 2016 and August of 2018.
Okay. In looking at State's 166, the Bank of America records for the defendant, in the year of 2017, do you see a change in income that's coming in?
For 2017, there is a slight decrease in payroll, I believe.
Okay. Well, if we go back a little further then, what if we started with the payroll accounts for the defendant from his real estate income in 2016? Are you able to summarize what that is?
For 2016, I don't have it in front of me
What's the total?
W-2 for Mackin Realty. I have reflected for 2016 into 2017 the combined income from Mackin Realty.
And what is that combined income from Mackin Realty?
Through May of 2017 is $37,078.72.
And if you look at State's Exhibit 166, what happens in May of 2017 through August of 2017 where income is coming into the defendant's bank account?
There's a few smaller cash deposits and some income coming from ride-sharing services.
Which ride-sharing services did you see starting on June 19th of 2017?
It was Uber, Razor, and Lyft.
And can you give us an example of how much money is coming in from those Uber and Lyft accounts?
Anything from a few dollars. Here's one, $6.85, followed by $114.76. So there was a wide fluctuation.
In August of 2017, were you able to see a transaction from James Scandirito Sr.'s account of the Northern Trust account into the defendant's account in August of 2017?
Correct. There was check number 1007 from Northern Trust, account ending in 1584, in the amount of $4,500.
In August of 2017, what was the defendant's bank account balance just prior to that deposit?
$35.34.
And after that deposit of $4,500, do you see a withdrawal amount for a similar amount?
There was some cash withdrawals. There was a payment to Stripe, payment to FB&O, but by August 22nd, the balance was down to $173.31.
And then later on in that same month, in August of 2017, do you see a pickup of the Colfax checks that start coming in?
I believe the checks from Colfax in August were cashed.
Okay. And how much was that Colfax first check amount based on the records?
$4,500.
Okay. In terms of the defendant's finances in August, September, October of 2017, are you able to see payments that are being made from Colfax? Or income coming in from Colfax?
From the Bank of America account, there were sporadic deposits. There was one on September 19th of 2017 for $2,250.
When you looked at the Colfax records and you were able to add up from August of 2017 until March 19th, you testified to, of 2018, what was the total amount of money that the defendant received in income from Colfax?
It's $34,808.
And how did that compare to the income that you saw from the payroll records of the defendant from, say, the year of 2014?
A significant decrease.
How much of a significant decrease?
We went from $222,000 from Nestler Paletto down to about $54,000 between Mackin and Colfax.
Okay. In the payroll records that you see from Colfax, does it begin at a higher level per month and then decrease?
It does.
And can you tell the jury, based on the records, where you see that decrease start to happen?
January of 2018.
And what does the income from Colfax Realty decrease to? Where does it start and what does it decrease to?
It was at $4,500, looked like per month, down to, there was a $1,200 check in January of 2018, a second of $600 in January of 2018, and then there's one $2,250 check in February.
And in March, what is the income that's coming in from Colfax Realty?
March 1st of 2018, $2,250, followed by March 19th of 2018, $1,200.
Okay. And in, let's say, November of 2017, are there frequently two checks that are written from Colfax to the defendant for $2,250, but there's two of them each month?
Correct.
So based on the records, it appears to be biweekly payments?
Correct.
And then that changes in January of 2018 to only one check a month?
Correct.
Okay. In State's Exhibit 166, is the only period that you see in the records of regular employment through Lyft and Uber and Razor, is it during that time period of May 2017 to August of 2017?
It was sporadic throughout the entire time period.
But in the regular course, do you see income coming in from any of the realty companies from May 2017 to August of 2017?
No, there is not.
And do you see primarily income coming in from Lyft and Uber?
Correct. And some cash deposits.
Okay. And there's cash deposits and withdrawals that occur all the way through these
Throughout
Bank of America records?
Correct.
Okay. I have nothing further, this witness.
All right, let me turn now to Ms. Ramsey for cross-examination.
And obviously, Mr. Hughes, you can only track these documented amounts that you see from the W-2 forms from different businesses or deposits made into the account.
Correct. Whatever certified records I have to review.
Okay. And so the Bank of America records, this summary that we've been talking about, right?
Correct.
That go from December of 2016 until, I guess, April of 2018. Okay? In those particular records, they're connected to a debit card, right?
Correct.
Okay? And so you see a lot of purchases that are made on the account that come via the debit card.
Yes.
Okay? And what is Uber?
It's a ride-sharing company.
Okay? And for Mr. Scandirito's records, you saw both deposits from Uber as well as withdrawals from Uber.
Correct.
Which means he's using Uber.
Correct.
Why do people use Uber?
To get from one place to another?
All right. But we know that Mr. Scandirito had a vehicle.
Correct.
Right? Okay. And there's also another ride sharing that's called Lyft.
Yes.
And you have both deposits from driving as well as withdrawals from using it.
Yes.
Okay. And you also document in your summary that there are various cash deposits that are made throughout. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And so, as a general rule, people use a debit card. You use it at the grocery store, right?
Generally.
Yeah. Gas stations.
Yes.
I mean, all the things everybody uses their direct debit card from their bank account throughout the day, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see any charges on Mr. Scandirito's records for, say, grocery stores? And I can help you out. If you look at December 27, 2016, there's one charge for a Publix that's $163.02.
Yes.
Right? On January 8th of 2018, there's a charge for $20.17 or 70 cents at Publix.
Yes.
Okay? So between December of 2016 and January of 2018, no grocery store purchases?
Not that I can see, no.
How about, drugstores, things like that? And I can help you out with that. You'll see that on July 24th, 2017, there's a purchase from Walgreens for $18.16.
What was the date? I'm sorry.
On July 24th, 2017.
Yes.
Okay. And there's one September 19th, 2017, $24.13 at Walgreens.
Yes.
And one on September 29th, 2017 for $9.37.
Yes.
No others.
No.
Okay, so he's not using this for Walgreens, he's not using it for groceries. He doesn't have any credit cards, right?
I did not see any credit card payments, no.
Okay, so his sole funds are coming from this bank account, and we're not seeing the basic necessities for living.
It was sporadic.
Well, I think once a year is a little more than sporadic for groceries. You don't think so?
Which one was once a year?
Publix?
I would say 3 in 3 months is not sporadic.
Okay.
There was
Because one
December 27th of 2016, January 8th of 2018, February 5th of 2018. That's 3 in 3 months.
January what?
Would be January 8th of 2018 for $20.70, the one you questioned me about. And then there's a third one on February 5th of 2018 for $115.82. I'm sorry?
January 3rd, 2000, or December 27th, 2016, you have one.
Well, correct. So
January 8th, 2018 for $20.
There were 2 in 2 months, January and February of 2018.
5th of 2018.
Correct.
Right? So, he goes for over a year, and then he buys $20 worth of food in January, and doesn't buy anything again for another month.
Right, sporadic.
Okay? Would you also call the 3 drugstore charges in, we're talking about 19 months sporadic?
Yes. There are also Winn-Dixie charges, too, where you can buy food.
Well, the Winn-Dixie charges, sir, there's only one in June for $28,
Correct.
right? And one in March of 2018 for $13.
Correct.
Okay, I don't think he's clearly not living off the groceries that he's buying with the debit card,
Correct.
right? You knew that he was a real estate agent, obviously, right? From the records that you reviewed.
Yes.
Okay, no charges anywhere for dry cleaning services,
Not that I can recall.
okay? And in fact, when you look at his account, sir, there's actually a pattern that you described on direct examination of depositing money and then spending it or withdrawing it in cash.
For some of the real estate checks that were deposited and one check from his father.
Well, no, for all of them, sir. Okay, let's start off by going back to January of 2017, right? And in January 2017, you see 2 deposits on January 3rd totaling $2,160.
Yes.
Right? And that is spent down paying his rent and other things to $224 the same day.
Yes.
Okay? Then he makes a deposit of $800 in cash.
Yes.
Right? And he spends that money doing another transfer to his landlord as well as taking rides in Uber.
Correct.
Right? He spends that amount down. On January 9th, he makes 2 cash deposits, one for $200, one for $120. He spends that on Z-Box storage, Uber technology, but he spends that down to $50 in 3 days,
Yes.
right? And then he deposits cash again.
Correct.
On January 13th and January 17th, a total of $500 deposited between those 2 days,
Yes.
right? And spends it down, and as you told the jury on direct examination, he rarely keeps much money in this account.
During this time period, yes.
Did you or anyone from the state attorney's office attempt to get his tax records?
No.
Have you known people that keep low balances on their accounts because of tax issues?
I can't say that.
Well, you do know the IRS will garnish your accounts, right?
I've heard of that, yes.
Yes. Okay. So when you look at this pattern in the records, sir, one of the people that I believe you had some records for were the shearers. That was the individual that's described as his landlord.
Yes.
Okay, $2,800 a month in rent, right?
Correct.
Okay. How many times do you see him paying his rent out of this account?
Just on a handful of occasions.
No, not a handful, sir.
Well, what time period are you talking about, Counselor?
For these records, from December 23rd of 2016 to August 1st of 2018, there is one occasion.
Okay.
That
That time period, yes. I was
Right.
talking about the entire time period of the Bank of America records that I reviewed.
Well, the Bank of America records that you have summarized here are January 23rd, 2016 to August 1st, 2018, right?
Yes.
I presume this is what you consider important.
Yes,
Okay? And he pays his rent one time out of this account.
correct.
Does it have any other accounts at that time?
No,
He doesn't have any credit cards.
not that I'm aware of.
So he's paying his rent
Cash.
cash. Okay. Now, when you look at his accounts as well, sir, we talked about this in the Uber account, for instance. You see both deposits from giving rides as well as withdrawals from taking rides,
Yes.
right? And so, for instance, let's just go to the time period when we know he has a car. March of 2017, for instance, March 6th of 2017, you have Uber Technology, $6.17. Same day, $5.79. Same day, $9.75. Same day, $10.90. Same day, $15.49. 5 rides he takes on Uber on March the 6th.
Well, that's the date that it's reflected in the bank account, correct?
Right. Okay, but there are no charges to restaurants,
On the 6th, no.
no charges to bars.
No.
Okay, where do you think he's going with 5 rides in one day?
Objection, Judge, speculation.
Okay, I mean, you can see that throughout these records, am I right, sir? March the 8th, 2 more charges, $5.90, or March the 7th, you have $34 charged or withdrawn for a Lyft ride. On March the 8th, $5.93. On March the 8th again, same day, $5.23. Again, no charges to any restaurants, any hotels, any bars, any movie theaters.
For those dates, no.
Right. And you can see that pattern though, sir, if you go down this list, all right, over and over again, you'll see dates where there are multiple charges to Lyft or Uber on a single day where he's taken it, and there are no charges for anything at the end of the route. Right?
Not every time.
Right. Well, I mean, how many do you see where there's actually something like that, sir?
Sure, we can look at March 20th of 2017. There's the payment of $18.50 to Lyft.
And he has a restaurant charge of $139,
Correct.
right? March the 29th, Uber charges. Again, April the 5th, 2017, 3 Uber charges. I mean,
With an OB house charge on
most
Six.
of these instances where he's taking Uber or Lyft, there are multiple charges charges where he's taken multiple rides in a given day, right?
Yes.
Okay. And did you actually obtain the records to determine where Mr. Scandirito was doing his driving when he drove for
No.
Uber or Lyft?
No.
Okay, so you don't know if he was just picking up at the airport, or he was just picking up in tourist areas?
No idea.
Okay. In addition to these charges, sir, there's something on here that regularly appears that's called tender. Do you know what that is?
Tinder?
Yes.
It's a dating app.
Those don't appear to be automated, do they?
No.
Okay, so those are things that he's actually purchasing regularly on his phone.
Yeah, I mean, there was concentrations of time periods where it was more frequent, like March of 2017, April of 2017, into May, and then it becomes less consistent.
And there are charges here to airlines?
Which one?
Spirit AI?
Yes.
Okay. Overseas hotels, the Hilton Hotel Cartagena?
I believe there was one. Yes.
Okay. And so when we see deposits, though, on this account, sir, whether they be, when they're noted to be on the records as being from a particular place, like Colfax, that's from like a check, right? That
Correct.
you can identify. But the other deposits that we see on here, when it says repeatedly ATM deposit, deposit, without other descriptions, those are cash deposits going into this account.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let me turn now back to Ms. Walters. Redirect.
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Mr. Hughes, defense counsel just asked you a lot about the defendant's Uber usage as well as his employment or receiving monies from Uber. In the records that you reviewed, did you see an uptick in driving Uber, meaning income coming in from Uber between May of 2017 and August of 2017? In State Exhibit 166, the bank commercial summary.
What were the dates again?
May of 2017 to August of 2017.
But it continued September 2017, November 2017.
Is it as regular in September of 2017 as it is between those 3 months of May to August?
I'm sorry, were you talking about income or?
Income.
Okay, income. June, July, and August seem to have the heaviest concentration of 2017.
And that's income from Uber.
Correct.
What about if we look at Uber usage? Would you agree that in the records there's a sporadic amount of Uber usage that the defendant's actually paying to Uber? off and on from the Bank of America summary from 2016 to 2018. He uses Uber from time to time.
There was very little between June, July, and August of 2017 outgoing to Uber.
Okay, what about in total of that Bank of America summary? In the usage of Uber, do you see that occur after the Mercedes that we heard you testified previously about, after we heard that that Mercedes is no longer in the possession of the defendant?
The record starts the end of December of 2016, and there's already payments to Uber in December of 2016, frequently throughout January, February, March, until about May of 2017, and there's a drop-off in
And in
usage.
May of 2017, are the records showing that James Scandirito Sr. is paying payments on a Toyota Prius?
I believe so.
Okay. During the time the defendant has this Bank of America account of from 2016 to 2018, do you see the Bank of America account at some point dip below $0?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see that happen with his Chase account from 2015 to 2016?
Yes.
But is that the normal occurrence in the Chase account from 2015 to 2016?
Objection to the characterization.
All right, well, I'm going to overrule what both attorneys have asked on adjectives. What does sporadic mean? What's normal mean? It's up to you to describe, to find what is normal or what's sporadic or what's not. And with that caution, I'll allow the witness to answer the question, all right?
The negative balances didn't start until toward the end of the life of the bank account.
Okay. And when it started with around $50,000 in that bank account, from the records that you compiled, how do they decrease? From the records that you looked at, do they decrease quickly, as in one transaction of a withdrawal of $50,000, or do they decrease incrementally over time?
Incrementally over time.
Okay. Do you ever see in the defendant's Bank of America account large deposits of cash?
No.
Okay. And in March of 2018, specifically March 30th of 2018, do you see any driving done by the defendant for Uber as reflected in the records?
What were the dates again?
March 30th of 2018. Is there any income coming in from Uber?
No.
Okay. What about in the month of March 2018? Do you see any income coming in from Uber?
No.
Okay. What about April 2018?
No.
Okay. Nothing further now.
All right, Mr. Hughes, thank you for coming to court. We're going to have one more witness this evening, folks. Thanks for agreeing to work late. I'm going to turn now back to Mr. Parnafiello to call our next witness.
This on the state called Deputy Fay.
Detective Fay, come in and be sworn in by our Deputy Clerk, Ms. Briggs.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Watch the steps of the chairs.
Good evening, Detective Fay. How are you this evening?
Good, sir. How are you?
Good. If you could, once you've made yourself comfortable, sir, please Introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of our jury and spell your last name for our court reporter.
Yes, my name is Detective Timothy Fay, F-A-Y.
All right, we turn now to Mr. Parnafiello to proceed.
Good evening, Detective. How are you currently employed?
I'm a detective and digital forensic examiner with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you worked for the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office?
9 years.
How long have you been a digital forensic examiner?
5 years.
Do you have any prior law enforcement experience?
No.
Can you tell the members of the jury what your training and education is with regards to being a digital forensic examiner?
Yes, my job as a forensic examiner is to conduct comprehensive examinations of digital evidence.
What sort of tools do you use to do that?
We use various software tools that take data from hardware, hard drives, thumb drives, and cell phones, and it allows us to examine the data and present it in court and in investigations in a readable manner.
Do you have training specific to being a digital forensic examiner?
Yes.
Tell the members of the jury what type of training that you have.
I hold an industry standard certification from the International Association of Computer Investigative Specialists. I also hold several software-specific certifications.
And are you trained on doing digital forensic examinations of laptops, desktop computers, and cell phones?
Yes, I am.
Can you tell the members of the jury what sort of tools or what way you do the digital forensic analysis of a laptop?
For a laptop, there are several different tools that you can use. In this case, I used 2 tools. One was a live analysis tool that I ran while the laptop was running, and at that same time, I was conducting a copying, a mirror imaging of the hard drive itself.
What does a live analysis tool mean? What does that do?
If you encounter a computer that is running or a phone that's running, typically if you power off that device, you run the risk of losing evidence. If that's the case, you want to capture as much of that evidence as possible. So in this case, the OS triage tool, which is the tool that I ran, allowed me to gather as much of that evidence as possible without losing it.
Now, were you called to do a digital forensic analysis of a Lenovo laptop in this case?
Yes.
How many total records or how many total items of evidence were contained on that laptop?
There were over 264,000 individual records on this laptop.
And when were you called, or approximately when were you called to do this analysis?
I was originally contacted in early September of last year.
Is it, from a time standpoint, practical to go through all 264,000 files?
No, it would be impractical and really probably impossible to go through that many records accurately.
Can you tell the members of the jury how it was that you performed your digital analysis of the laptop and how you directed your efforts to analyze this item of hardware?
Yes. We start by, I have a conversation and an interview of sorts with the case agent, in this case, Detective Curtis, and he directs me to items of interest that we hope to find within the evidence itself. And then I use the different forensic tools at my disposal to run different types of searches, check different common locations that evidence can be found.
When you power up the laptop, are you able to see what the last tabs or the last websites that the defendant was browsing at the time the laptop was taken out of his possession?
Yes, in this case, when I received the laptop in my lab, the battery had died, and once I powered the laptop on, it had several things open, one of which was an internet browser, Google Chrome.
Were there any tabs open in Google Chrome when you opened it?
Yes, there were several dozen individual browsing tabs open to different websites.
Can you tell the members of the jury some of the tabs that you observed when you were looking at the last websites the defendant was looking at before the laptop was taken from his custody?
If you allow me to refer to my notes.
Can you refresh your memory?
Yes, please. Yes. Some of the tabs that were open, there were several dozen. One was a website called JetSmarter. It's a charter jet rental website. There was a missing persons website for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. A website called couchsurfing.com, which is kind of like an Airbnb for a spare bed. There was a Bank of America ATM locator. There was a privatejets.com tab.
What is that? Is that similar to the JetSmarter?
Correct. That's a similar type website. There was also a website searching boats from Florida to the Bahamas, as well as the Palm Beach Post's Wanted Fugitives website.
Did you analyze this laptop to see about other searches, specifically the dates and times of the other searches?
Yes, there were several other searches at various points.
So without talking about the searches for the websites that were open when you looked at the computer, how far back did the searches go in that laptop?
On the laptop, the searches went back till April 4th.
Did you note some searches and give that information to law enforcement of searches of note that you observed on the defendant's little computer?
Correct.
Which searches did you note?
There were searches for various airports, airports in the Bahamas, the Cayman Islands, France, Cuba. There was also a search for how to share a private jet. There was a search for Western Union. There was a search on April 7th for arrest warrants, silver alerts, as well as a search for Monterrey, Mexico. There was a search for the JetSmarter website, which was an open tab, and there was also a search for a flight from New Orleans to Laredo, Texas.
Were there any searches for bus rides from any cities in the United States to cities in another country?
Yes, there was a Google search for a bus trip from from Laredo, Texas to Monterrey, Mexico.
Other than the searches, did you stop searching the laptop and focus on other items of digital forensic evidence in this case?
Yes, I was asked to analyze a home computer that was found in the residence.
Would that be like what we might call a desktop computer?
Correct.
Were you provided information that was extracted from a desktop computer by the FDLE?
Correct. FDLE made the original copy of the original evidence. We do this in a forensic manner in these cases so that we do not interact directly with the original evidence. That allows us to have a mirror image of the original computer that we can then analyze.
Why is that important?
It's important that we don't alter or add, subtract any items or data from the drives themselves.
Can you explain to members of the jury what metadata is?
Metadata it's simply defined as data about data. It could be, it's most commonly described, it could be locations that you took a photo or dates and times. Those things are considered metadata.
Do the files themselves contain metadata about the time that they were either created or modified?
Yes.
And tell the members of the jury how that is and how that would be modified if you actually analyze the computer itself.
So when a file is created, the computer, or in this case, and some of these other cases, mobile devices, they timestamp based on the current time that's set to the device itself. If I were to analyze the original evidence, there would be the possibility of those dates changing. There are instances where if you open a file, make a change, and save the file, there are dates that may change along with that.
So one of the reasons that you mirror the drive is so that you don't interfere with any of the dates modified or dates accessed.
Correct.
What sort of tools do you do when you analyze the desktop computer?
In this case, I used a tool called Axiom.
And just briefly explain what that does to members of the jury.
Axiom inputs the image that I create or that I receive from another examiner, and it searches the whole breadth of the hard drive itself for items of interest that you can pre-select from a list of approximately 250 points of interest.
How many total records or total potential items of evidence were contained on that HP laptop hard drive that FDA provided?
There were over 800,000 records.
Again, is it possible or practical for you to search all 800,000 records?
No, it wouldn't be practical.
Tell the members of the jury how you narrowed your search and how you focused your time on the analysis of that desktop tower.
In this case, as the investigation moved forward, we focused on internet records and keywords that involved different Google searches, items that may determine or show the searcher, the user's frame of mind or what they were attempting to do at that time.
Did you find any searches relevant to this case occurring on or about April 1st, 2018?
April 1st, I found a Google search that was typed into the incognito Chrome browser, incognito being the browser you open within Google Chrome if you don't want to leave a record on the computer of your search history.
Does this still allow you to access that record of the search?
Yes, the record, the web visit isn't visible to the next person that uses the computer, but the data remains for an investigator to find.
What did you find on April 1st, or what searches did you find that occurred on April 1st, and when in the day did they occur?
On April 1st, there was a Google search in the incognito browser for extradition to U.S. most difficult.
And approximately, what approximate time that search occurred?
That search occurred in the evening about 7:47 p.m.
And then what was the next record of significance on that desktop computer?
The next record of significance was a website that when you use that search term in Google, the first record that appears that you could click on is a website called internationalman.com, and it was an article for the best countries for your escape plan.
Does the user of the computer at that time visit that website?
Yes, the user of the computer at that time visited the website 2 times.
And what was the approximate times that website is accessed?
The times accessed on the device were 7:45 p.m. and 7:47 p.m.
Have you accessed that website?
Yes.
And does it contain a list of non-extradition methods?
It does. It lists a comprehensive list of countries that do not extradite to the United States.
Were there any other visits to any other websites of relevance on April 1st from that desktop computer?
Yes, there was one other website visited several minutes later. It was a AOL.com article about the best countries without extradition.
What was the title of the AOL.com article?
It was Nowhere to Run to, the 5 best countries with no extradition.
Are you provided a digital forensic extraction from a Motorola phone that was indicated to you was taken from the defendant's possession at the time he was taken into custody?
Yes, I was.
And did you do a forensic analysis of that phone?
Yes, I did.
Could you tell from your forensic analysis when the first powering event was on that phone?
Yes. When you first power on a mobile device, typically you receive a message or several messages from the carrier itself and welcoming you, inviting you to do several different things. In this case, there was, it showed after the first powering event at 10:59 a.m. on April 4th.
And do some phones keep records of when the phones are turned on and off?
Yes.
This Motorola, is that something that would be in the extraction report of when the phones turned on and off?
In this case, no, I don't believe there was.
How about the Samsung? Does the Samsung contain a record of whether or not it is powered on or off?
If a certain type of extraction is conducted on the device, then typically that data is stored in that location. But in this case, that type of extraction was unavailable. and so that specific data was unable to be found.
And that's moving ahead. So I want to focus
I
back
apologize.
on that's my fault. I want to focus back on the Motorola phone. You indicated that that phone appears to have been first powered on at 10:59 a.m. on April 4th.
Correct.
Is there any outgoing phone calls made by the user of that phone?
Yes, there were several calls made from the device.
Does the phone, does the caller or does the user of that handset do anything to disguise the phone number of that phone?
Yes, in this case, prior to dialing the number itself, the *67 option was dialed.
And do you recall what phone numbers the user of that handset was attempting to contact with the block phone option?
Yes, the handset was attempting to call the victim's house.
And does it also attempt to contact the Days Inn or the Comfort Inn?
Yes, that's correct.
Is there any app that is installed on that Motorola phone that you noted during your analysis?
Yes, there was an app installed that's called Google Trips.
And does your extraction enable you to tell what is done with that app?
Not often, not in this case.
Compared to other phones that you analyzed in this case, was there a lot of activity on this Motorola phone?
No.
Again, folks, you're going to decide what a significant amount is, what a lot is. I'm going to allow the witness to answer the question based on his working on other phones.
Was there more or less activity on this phone than on the phone identified to you as being the defendant's phone that was taken within a month of the date of the search?
Less data.
Was it significantly less?
I would say it's significantly less, yes.
What was the main area of forensic analysis in this case?
My main area of forensic analysis was the Samsung device.
And is that a Samsung Android Galaxy S8?
Yes, it is.
Tell the members of the jury how it is that you perform a forensic analysis of a cell phone.
It's conducted in a similar fashion as it would be a computer, since a phone is just a small version of a computer. There's a hard drive on a phone, and what you use is a forensic piece of software. In this case, Cellebrite is the type of software that I used. That's the brand, and it creates. It speaks with the device, and then it requests information from the device in a forensically sound manner.
Can I ask the court to publish stipulation number 19 this time?
Just take a second, folks. I'm sorry. I put that away. Number what now?
19, Your Honor, the last one.
Thank you, sir. Sorry. I got an earlier copy.
Your Honor, the court wants to approach this to the state's network.
Don't think I lose everything up here, guys. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Parnafiello. I'll return this to you, and I'll locate my copy of this document. All right, folks, again, the stipulation is an agreement between the parties that you can take as an established fact. State's Exhibit number 107 is the forensic Cellebrite cell phone extractions of the defendant's Samsung phone performed by Officer Turek. State's Exhibit number 107 contains the file system extraction, which was started on April 4th, 2018, and concluded on April 5th, 2018, as well as the logical extraction, which was performed on April 5th, 2018. The defense stipulates that this is a true and accurate replication of the data that Officer Turek copied from the defendant's phone, which was later analyzed by Detective Timothy Fay of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. With that, let me return this back to you, Mr. Parnafiello. Thank you.
So, Detective Fay, you had indicated that the stipulation talks about a program called Cellebrite.
Correct.
Can you explain that to the members of the jury?
Yes, Celebrite is the leading provider of mobile device forensic software. In this case, it was I received a report or the data itself that was collected from the original device.
And then is Celebrite a tool that you can use to interpret or to read the data?
Correct. After an extraction is conducted, the software parses the data or organizes the data in a readable format for the user.
What types of information are contained when you get a Celebrite extraction report?
Celebrite extraction reports typically contain, if they're comprehensive, call logs, photos, videos, audio of any kind, installed applications, GPS data in some cases.
Will it return SMS messages?
Correct. Text messages, chats in some cases.
Will it return MMS messages?
Correct.
Can you explain to the members of the jury what the difference between an SMS message, an MMS message, and a chat is?
Yes. An SMS message is your run-of-the-mill text message. It's a conversation, a text back and forth with just letters and numbers. A multimedia message, an MMS message, it contains some type of multimedia, a video, audio, or a photograph.
And then do you give it a chat?
Oh, I apologize. Chats, for the purposes of the software, typically it's data pulled from applications that weren't originally installed on the device. So WhatsApp or Viber, any type of other communication app.
In your extraction, did you observe any WhatsApp chats that were able to be read through the course of the extraction?
The extraction in this case did not collect the WhatsApp data, as it's not something that is installed when the phone is originally purchased.
Does the extraction have information regarding contacts?
Yes.
And just briefly explain what contact is.
A contact is either names and numbers that you input yourself, or it could also include contacts that you pull in from your email accounts or other mobile devices that you've synced together.
Are they user editable?
Yes.
Did this handset have a phone number for Skip Scandirito in a contact?
Yes, it did.
And what was the name of the contact in the phone?
The actual name of the contact was Scandirito Skip.
Was there a phone number for Skip Scandirito in the phone?
Yes. The phone number was area code 561-350-1357.
And were you provided AT&T records to corroborate that as being a phone a phone number that belongs to the victim, in this case, Skip Scandirito?
Yes, I was.
Was there a contact for Ernie and Peggy?
Yes, there were.
And what was that phone number?
That phone number was area code 561-955-0116.
Was there a phone number contact for a person named Landlord Shearer?
Yes.
And what was that phone number?
Give me just a second. I'm sorry. I'll pull it up. In this case, the contact information for that contact Shearer was area code 954-766-7991. That was a mobile number, and there was a home number that is listed as 954-766-7990.
Does the Celebrite extraction contain information regarding call logs?
Yes, it does.
Can you tell the members of the jury what a call log is and what type of information is retained in a call log?
Yes, a call log is what it sounds like. Anytime you receive a call, make a call, or have a missed call, that information is saved to the device itself.
Does the phone also, can you explain what the difference is between a received call and a missed call?
Yes, a received call is, a received call record is made when the handset is actually used to answer the phone call itself, and there's at least a 1 second communication between the two numbers.
So I want to now focus your attention to the actual analysis that you performed in this case. You said that Detective Curtis had provided you information about the facts of the case to help sort of guide your investigation.
Yes.
Did you observe communications between the defendant's phone and the victim's phone number or the contact in the victim's phone during your investigation or during your analysis of this device?
Yes, there were several communications between the two.
May I publish portions of State's Exhibit 107 at this time?
You may. And I've admitted 107 over the defendant's objection.
The first thing I'm going to ask you about, Detective, is the text message exchange that you observed between the defendant and the victim's phone on or about March 30th, 2018. Are you able to see from where you are?
Yes.
Tell the members of the jury, may I brush the witness?
You may.
I'm going to give you a laser pointer if it would assist your testimony. Sure. Can you explain to the members of the jury what they're seeing in this display?
Yes, so this, the entirety of this slide here is what we provide to case agents when we conduct the investigations. On the left side here is all the different evidence points that are collected during the extraction. In this case, what is highlighted here is a SMS message or a basic text message.
And can we tell if it's an outgoing or incoming text message?
Yes, so here it's indicated with an arrow pointing toward the phone. That indicates that it was a received call. Someone called or texted this phone number.
Can you tell what the content is of that message?
Yes. In this case, the body of the message or the content of the message is shown here, and it says, how did it go with the cats?
So the defendant's handset receives the text from the victim's phone at this time?
That's correct.
What's the next communication between the defendant's phone and the victim's phone?
There are, on March 31st, there are two...
I'm sorry. Is there a response within this communication?
Oh, I apologize. Hold that. Just want to get on the same page as you. I apologize.
While you're doing that, is there a tool that you can use to analyze all of the data that comes in and goes out from the phone chronologically?
Yes, the timeline view is a way to view all of the data combined together in a chronological order.
Okay. So then focusing your attention to March 30th, 2018, I think you indicated the text message the handset received was at 11:28. What is the text message sent from the defendant's phone at approximately 11:32?
At 11:32, the handset texts that same number that received the text about the cat, and the body of the text is that they're fine. I got there late and Ernie had fed them. He saw me loading up your car this morning, told him about your new friend. I think he's worried.
What's the next communication between the two handsets?
The next communication is an incoming text message from the Scandirito skip contact, and it is a text message that states, how did it go? Oh, I apologize.
I'm sorry, I'm mixing both text messages and...
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
So we talked about the March 30th text message exchange. Are there any missed calls on March 31st, 2018?
Yes, I'm sorry. There were two missed calls March 31st from the defendant's father.
So the defendant's phone gets two calls from the victim's phone?
That's correct.
Can you show the members of the jury how we know that from the view that we see on the screen?
Yes, here you see the blue arrow pointing to the phone that indicates it's an incoming either message or phone call. Here it lists that it's in the call log, which shows that it is, in fact, a phone call. And then on this side here, it shows the parties involved. In this case, Skip Scandirito.
Is that the second phone call that we see here?
Yes, right there below that at 12:31 a.m. is the second phone call.
On the 31st, does the defendant attempt to schedule a lunch date with anyone?
Yes. On 3:31.
Is that before or after the next communication with Skip Scandirito's phone?
That's before, I believe.
When is the next communication with Skip Scandirito's phone?
The next communication with Skip Scandirito's phone is $12:32, 2:20.
Can we see it on the screen? You said
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's easier to see on yours. The outgoing SMS message, plain text message on 3:31 that says, "Are you home?"
Does the defendant make any more phone calls to Skip Scandirito's phone on 3:31?
Yes, he calls at 2:24 p.m. and again at 8:05 p.m.
Can we see the phone call at 2:24?
Yes.
And is that the 8:05 phone call?
Yes.
Did you see other text message conversations between the defendant and Skip Scandirito's phone?
Yes.
Specifically, did you see a conversation beginning March 12, 2018 regarding a sum of money?
Yes. On March 12th, 2018, Skip tells Jimmy, in this case it would be the victim telling the defendant to bring $400 on Sunday, $400 on Sunday.
And then does the defendant respond?
Yes, the defendant responds yes.
On March 19th, do they have further discussion about that, the $400?
Yes, on March 19th, the defendant texts the victim's phone and says, "I deposited $400 into your Chase. I'm in for golf if there is a spot."
Did you see any missed calls from the landlord or from the contact indicated as landlord Shearer in the defendant's in the extraction of the defendant's phone?
Yes, on the Samsung extraction, there are 4 missed calls in total from the landlord where the device handset didn't answer.
What is the date of the first phone call? The first missed call from the landlord?
The first missed call is on February 24th at 11:55 a.m.
What is the second phone call or missed phone call?
The second missed phone call, February 25th at 6:05 p.m.
And then what are the third and fourth missed phone calls?
And they both occurred on March 24th, one at 3:02 p.m. and one at 3:11 p.m.
Now, in that extraction report, you talked to us about the timeline feature.
Yes.
Are you able to search for keywords within the timeline feature?
Yes.
Were you asked to perform a keyword search for the word Colfax?
Yes.
Did you see any contacts in the phone with the name Colfax attached to them?
Yes, there were several contacts in the device with the name Colfax attached.
And did you ever find any communications using the word Colfax?
Yes.
What is the last date that you find either a missed call, a text message, or any type of communication using the word Colfax?
March 19th.
Of 2018?
Correct.
Now, I think you had said that the phone can act as a computer.
Yes, a phone is just a smaller version of a computer.
Did did that phone contain digital audio, digital video files that were stored on the hard drive of the phone?
Yes, they did.
How does that work with comparison to that extraction that we saw?
In this case, the most common audio files that you'll find on a mobile device are voicemails, but there are several other applications and things that you can use that will store audio within the device itself, whether it be a voice recording memo application or things like that.
And within that report that you have, are you able to remove the files from the extraction report to then analyze later?
Yes.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
I'm approaching you what has been admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit number 119A and B. Have you had an opportunity, before you testified today, to look at State's Exhibit 119A and B?
Yes.
And did you have opportunity to review the data contained on State's 119A and B?
Yes.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the data that you took out of that extraction report and made it presentable for court?
Yes.
Are those, is 119A and B some of those reported phone calls that you indicated the device was able to do?
Yes. In this case, the device, there was an application on the device that, when activated, would record phone calls between two parties.
Is there anything significant about the naming convention of 119A and 119, the files on 119A and B?
Yes. In this case, the software itself, the app, when it saves a file, it timestamps. It uses the timestamp as the file name.
And you talked about metadata previously. Do the files themselves indicate the time and date that they were created, or the time and date that they were last modified?
Yes.
Can you tell the members of the jury what time 119A and 119B were created and modified?
In this case, they were created on April 1st. One at 12:56 p.m., another at 3:22.
So that would be A is 12:56 p.m. and B is 3:22.
That's correct.
119A and B only? Are those also fair and accurate depictions of the data that you removed from the device?
That's correct, they are.
And do they follow the same naming conventions?
Yes, they do.
Specific to 119A and B only, what time are 119A and B created?
119A is created, April 2nd, 2018, 3:19 p.m. The second, B would be created April 2nd, 2018, 7:53 p.m.
And then finally, State's Exhibit number 121. Was 121 another fair and accurate copy of the data that you removed from that extraction device?
Yes, it is.
What time was 121 created?
It was created April 3rd, 2018 at 12 p.m.
Were you also tasked with retrieving WhatsApp voice notes that were stored on the handset?
Yes.
And can you tell the members of the jury how was it? Did you follow the same procedure that you did for the recorded calls?
Yes.
May I approach the witness?
May.
Detective, I'm showing you what has been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit, Composite Exhibit 126C and D only. Do you recognize those as being some of the WhatsApp voice notes that you removed from the device to present in court?
Yes, they are.
And do you have opportunity to review them, and do they fairly and accurately depict copies of that data?
Yes, they do.
Can you tell the members of the jury what time, do those also contain that metadata that tells the time and date the file was created or modified?
Yes, they do.
Can you tell the members of the jury what time and date State's Exhibit 126C was created?
126C was created March 25th, 2018 at 7:41 p.m.
And State's 126D?
126D was created March 25th, 2018 at 7:51 p.m.
And then finally, I'm showing you State's Exhibit number 127. Is State's Exhibit number 127 another fair and accurate copy of the WhatsApp voice notes that you took off of that extraction?
Yes, it is.
Can you tell the members of the jury what time State's Exhibit number 127 was modified?
It was modified March 27th, 2018, 9:09 p.m.
And when you say modified, that's when the file itself was created?
That's correct. In this case, since these files specifically can't be altered, the modified time and the created time are the same.
At one moment, Your Honor.
You may.
I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. Let me turn to Mr. Arbogast, cross-examination.
You said that there was some missed calls with the landlord Shearer.
Yes.
You said that was February 24th, February 25th, and then 2 on March 24th.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so you're highlighting 4 missed calls over a 1-month period.
Yes.
No idea what the content of the messages left or anything from the landlord.
In this case, no.
You pointed to some text messages that talk specifically about the one that we spoke of, that we looked at here a minute ago between Scandirito Sr.'s phone and Scandirito Jr.'s phone.
Yes.
So Scandirito Sr. said bring $400 on Sunday,
Yes.
and then Scandirito Jr. said yes.
Correct.
And then Scandirito Jr. replied again and said, I gave you $400 into your Chase account. Count me in for golf.
Yes, it said I'm in for golf if there's a spot.
So the text message just encapsulate that he's paying his dad back money he owes him?
That's what it appears to represent, yes.
Okay. And you analyzed the cell phone, the Samsung, right?
Yes.
And that was the phone that Mr. Scandirito Jr. had on his possession from before he was ever arrested.
I can't testify to the location of the device when it was found. The device was collected away from my purview.
Well, you said you also looked at a Motorola phone.
Yes.
And the Motorola phone was activated on like April 2nd or something, right? Before.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so that's a newer cell phone.
Yes, I would say it was, it either was purchased long ago and not turned on until then, or purchased recently and turned on.
So Samsung phone that had data dating back for 800,000 plus files, let's just say, right?
The home computer was the one with the 800,000 files.
The Samsung phone had clearly been active for a long time.
Yes.
Okay, so and then the Motorola phone was new.
Yes.
Okay, and then you looked at a Lenovo laptop, right?
Yes.
And then you looked at a desktop that was found in Skip's Scandirito's home.
That's correct.
And you said that you found searches about countries of non-extradition.
Yes.
Across all 4 devices, you found that search.
Yes.
And across all 4 devices, you found searches something similar, right? About things about running away, and JetBlue, and private jets and stuff, right?
Yes.
And all of that stuff was in April 1st, or after.
Yes.
So all searches related to anything about flight all came after the police got involved in the investigation.
I don't know exactly when the local agency got involved, but the dates are correct.
But April 1st was the earliest you noted of anything.
Yes.
That would be pertinent to this investigation.
Like I said, with the amount of data that's contained in these devices, I can't say for certain whether or not there isn't data that extends before that. That might be relevant.
Sure, you shortcut your searches with keywords, right?
Yeah, if it's possible.
Right, and that way, because like you said, it would be really difficult to go through that much data, and it would be impractical if things are used, right?
Yes, that's why we try to narrow it down.
So you didn't find anything in there prior to March 28th when you punched in those search terms?
Which search terms are you referring to?
I guess extradition or escape or murder or anything that would be relevant at all?
On the laptop itself, the search terms begin in April. Yes, that's correct.
So we don't see like how to get away with murder, punch in the research.
No.
Okay, we don't see like, oh, kill my dad, what do I do next? Search term.
No.
Right? Okay, like, man, really struggling. How much money can I get from the literature policy? We don't see anything like that at all, ever, in any of these devices that you search in.
No, I never found something like that.
No further questions.
All right, thank you. Let me turn back to Mr. Carnafiello for a redirect examination.
I was going to ask you if you heard the content of any of the calls from Mr. Shear. You indicated that the phone was equipped with an app that would record phone calls.
That's correct.
And would that app record phone calls made by the device?
Yes.
In other words, it wouldn't record anything that came into the device, only calls that the device made.
That's correct, since somebody outside the device couldn't activate it.
So if the defendant made a phone call to check his voicemail, and the voicemail contained a recording, would that, based on your analysis, be a fair and accurate depiction of that phone call?
Yes, it would.
No further questions?
All right, Detective Fay, thank you for coming to court this evening. You may step down. You're excused.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, folks, we're going to recess for the evening. Tomorrow, we will, wherever we are, we'll recess around 4:30 at the latest. I have a personal matter outside the outside of court that I have to attend to. So tomorrow we're going to start at 9, work till around 4:30 or so. So remember, tonight, don't watch any news accounts regarding this case. Don't talk to anybody about this case. Don't let anybody talk to you. We'll see you back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for the continuation of the state's presentation of their case.
I believe you pads on the chairs, please, and turn them over.
Okay, everybody have a seat. Tomorrow you have one more witness you're going to call about an hour on direct. I don't know what the cross is going to take us, but the defense is going to be ready to start putting their case on before lunch tomorrow. You have witnesses ready to go tomorrow? Okay.
And Judge, we did tell the state just now that we need to have Gary Gooden brought back for our case in chief.
I would contact Mr. Gooden now and tell him that the defense is requesting his appearance.
He's just in Orlando. He didn't want to give us his phone number. He said to tell the state.
Okay.
The request is just made, so I will convey it as soon as I get back to the office.
All right, so what is it that you are going to elicit from Mr. Gooden that you didn't ask on cross? In other words, you had to...
So we're going to ask him about the judge.
Okay. What's the state's thoughts about, when he says, we'll ask him about the judge, we're talking about Skip Scandirito, and what is the state's view of that?
The state concedes that the door was open, but the door has only been open for the limited purpose that he was removed from the bench. And
I don't think it's factually true that he was removed from the bench, is it?
Yes, it is. Would you like to see all the disciplinary reports? I have them all.
You do. Okay. Listen, I believe that the door is open for a little bit, but are you sure that he was removed? Because I believe he resigned. Maybe it was under pressure.
he resigned while he was under the investigation.
Right. So, I mean, when I said
But then he was disbarred.
but that's not, the door's not
No,
open
I'm
for
just
that.
saying, Judge, he cut some deal because he kept his pension,
Right.
but the discipline went farther than that. Okay, he couldn't practice anymore.
Well,
I'm not eliciting that, I'm just saying, like,
I know,
don't
but
see
I
it.
think that there was something else that happened in Florida that caused him to get
No, he
disbarred.
was disbarred in Michigan first.
Okay, but didn't he, something happened with the Department of Children and
Yeah,
Families
he
in
didn't
Florida.
tell them that he was disbarred in Michigan.
Oh, well, okay, but we're not going. So, I'll allow you to bring out the fact that he resigned under whatever circumstances. I'll wait for whatever objection the government has. I believe that everyone agrees that the door was opened a little bit. The problem, really, when it comes down to it, Skip Scandirito is not on trial here. This is not a self-defense case in which his peacefulness or aggressiveness is at issue. What I'm allowing a little bit now here is, it actually came from the words of the defendant in the defendant's own statement that the government meant to redact pursuant to its own motion of limine, but failed to do so. So I don't want the jury, I'm not changing how I thought about this on Friday, that there was some type of imprimatur that he was more, that he was a judge, and that is not true. He wasn't a judge when he died. He was no longer a lawyer, but he was resigned from the bench up in Michigan. That's the truth of the matter, and we're not going to be bringing out false statements or false facts. So, I got that for Gary Gooden. You guys don't want to enter into a stipulation on that, whatever you guys can agree to? Did you offer to do that, State?
I have not offered to do that. I would offer to stipulate to what the court indicated or would be willing to allow the defense to go into.
Well, instead of, the guy driving back, if that's all you intend to get from him, I would ask that you guys explore a stipulation as the fact that I can announce to the jurors in that regard. If you wish to explore that and discuss that tonight, I would urge you to do that. Save the man a 6-hour round trip drive and the expense.
6.
You've been to Orlando recently? My God, the traffic there is brutal. I don't know where he is in Orlando, but it takes an hour to get anywhere within Orlando to another place in Orlando. So, it's probably 2.5 hours there, round trip.
One reason indicated she's not interested in that situation.
No, not.
Okay, all right. What else is the defense going to be putting on? You have your own medical examiner, I know, in the case. Are you going to call that person?
No.
You have,
Several civilians listed. We have a couple law enforcement officers. We have Stuart James.
blood spatter expert. Yeah, I've known Stuart James since 1992. Wrote the book on blood spatter. Usually blood spatter, I don't know, luminol, I guess, okay, got that issue. All right, anything else? You're definitely calling Stuart James, though. Not definite.
No, we are.
Okay. All right. Now, sometime tomorrow, a motion for judgment of acquittal is going to come before the court. And with respect to count 1,
I've got some laws.
I have some that I have read, and I'm going to give you the cases that I've been reading. And I had asked the government to give me, but I know how busy they've been. But give me some additional cases you would ask me to read. I'll tell you what I have read, okay? Norton versus State, 709 Southern 2nd, 87. Mungin versus State, 689 Southern 2nd, 1026. Coolin, let me just go ahead. Hoffert versus State, 617 Southern 2nd, 1046. Norton, I've already said. Balzort, 75 Southern 3rd, 830. Rivera, 761 Southern 2nd, 423. Mungin, I've already mentioned to you, that's 689 Southern 2nd, 1026. Kirkland versus State, 684 Southern 2nd, 732. Graham versus State, 793 Southern 2nd, 15. Do you have any other cases that you would want me to read? Let me just go ahead and take the cites from both sides, since that's what I like to do, is read case law on premeditation. Go ahead. Anything else?
I also have Bingham.
Bingham,
Yes.
site,
995 Southern Second 207.
okay.
You already said North, right?
I did.
You said North. Oh, Bingham. 995 Southern Second 207.
I knew we'd work till 7 tonight. Markel, anything else?
Right now on the computer, the only ones additional that I have are Bedoya versus State.
Ladoya.
Bedoya with the B.
Ladoya.
779 Southern Second, 574. I have Daniels versus State. I think the court already read it.
I'm sorry?
I think the court already read it.
I don't think so. I have 108 Southern Second, 755,
Yes, sir.
1959 Florida Supreme Court opinion. Yeah.
McDuffie versus State, 72 Southern Third, 774.
McDuffie, what is it? What's the side on McDuffie?
72 Southern Third, 774.
Okay.
You said North, right?
Yes.
You guys also need to read Hofford. None of you guys mentioned Hofford. I'm telling you, Hofford is
What was the site on operator?
617 7 2nd 1046. So, marshal your evidence as to premeditation.
Yes, sir.
There are cases that I have just Hofford and Norton really, and Hofford explicitly stands for a proposition and Norton does implicitly, but Hofford explicitly does. And there's that is that, covering up a homicide, covering up a death, is equally consistent with second-degree murder or manslaughter as it is with first-degree premeditated murder. It also, as Ms. Ramsey is going to argue, be consistent with a natural death. But assuming I reject that argument, that there is just so much here that is logically inconsistent with a natural death, government still has a hurdle, and that hurdle is what evidence establishes premeditation. In a circumstantial evidence case, reasonable hypothesis, they got into an argument, a fight, and there was a killing that occurred during that type of instantaneous fight that is consistent with a lesser degree of homicide. How does the government overcome that and establish prima facie case of premeditation? So that's what I'm asking you to focus on, really. I know that Ms. Ramsey is going to be focusing on the fact that a dismemberment is equally consistent with a natural death. But don't forget, even if it's not, what's the homicide? What is the degree of unlawful homicide? Many of these cases remand from a first-degree murder, and frankly, the thing is, many jurors will find the defendant guilty of premeditated first-degree murder because of what happened after the death. It's just something that goes, with lay people hand in hand. And for a legal matter, many of the Supreme Court in all these cases, and looking at them, have remanded back to the trial court for an imposition of a sentence on second-degree murder, in some places manslaughter, because of the lack of evidence of premeditation. So that's where you need to be focused, okay? All right. Any additional sites? I'll print those cases, read them tonight, and we'll get together tomorrow at 9. All right, 7 o'clock on the dot there, Susan. Thank you so much. Brianne, thank you for this thought.
I just have to address that issue.
Okay. I'm sorry? We're the only ones that are going to be here tomorrow. My docket's being done next week.